Alright gang, back in the early 70s I received for Christmas one year a Tyco train set. The only thing I recall from the train set was the Santa Fe engine, the piggyback trailer tandem, the tractor flat car, and the hopper that dumped. So I was talking to my dad about it, and he said yeah, that the set I had had all kind of accessories, and he mentioned one with the pipe loaders and the hopper as well, and he said it had 2 engines. So we're looking through a bunch of photos online, and this is the one that we believe was the one I had. So with that knowledge, I decided to put this train set back together. And here we go. I've finally got this set reassembled. There is a slight difference from the picture to what I have here. Okay, I got the A and B unit. The A unit's powered, the B unit is a non-powered unit. Got the blue hopper, the flat car with the concrete culvert pipes. That car in the photo I believe was red, and or maybe it was a tractor flat car. Either way, I'll have to change it out. The tandem Santa Fe trailer piggyback, the box car, the tractor flat car, the hopper, and the caboose. So we're going to look at each one of these individually. Alright, so we're going to start with the engine, of course. F7. Did a previous video where I picked up another F7, Tyco F7 that is, in the box. It's old like this one. It has the yellow air horns as well. No damage, and it works pretty good. Needs a cleaning, but it does work. Alright, here's the other side. Now I've noticed on every one of these engines I have this era, I have the one that my cousin had when he was a kid. It still works. It's the same setup, and his was from the late 60s, earlier 70s than mine. This one and the one in the box, and all of them work. But they all have the yellow horns, and I know I've got another one somewhere with black horns. I just don't know what I did with it. It's probably packed it with the other train stuff. And here's the B unit, undamaged. This one has KD style couplers on it, and this is the only car that currently has KD style couplers. All the other cars have just the standard horn couplers. I will be changing those out. I do have couplers, and I'm gonna put metal wheels on all the cars as well, because I'm gonna run this thing just because it was something from my childhood, and I'm glad to finally have it put back together. Now there's a story about this hopper. I think it's Boston and Maine, what the B&M stands for. I was looking online to get one because I didn't have one, and everywhere I went nobody had this particular hopper. So this guy has a bunch of Tyco cars in the box from the 70s. I'm going to say the 70s, so the boxes were the old brown Tyco boxes. So I buy it from him, and he sends me a box car instead of this hopper car. So I contacted him and said, hey man, you sent me the wrong one. He said, just keep it, I'll send you the other one. So I tried to pay him something for the other one, and he said his mistake, he'll just let me keep it, he'll eat it. Good seller. I need to start passing those sellers on to everybody that I think are exceptional. Because, you know, usually when they get something sent to me incorrectly, it's a hassle getting it switched out and all that good stuff. Alright, now when I was trying to recall the train set before I spoke with my dad, and we started looking online at photos, I remember the culvert pipes, but I couldn't recall if it was on a flat car or a hopper, because I had this car with the pipes, and I have a Union Pacific gondola with the culvert pipes as well. Like I said, I believe this car in the photo is red, but it'll suffice for now. I'll just run it as is. Alright, I remember this one all too well. So this was back in the 70s. My pawpaw was a truck driver. He had a couple of tractors, and actually one of my uncles down in South Georgia. So I was big time into trucks, you know, semi trucks. And then Smokey and the Bandit comes out, and face it, every boy back in the 70s wanted to either be Snowman or the Bandit. So it was cool accessory. It came with one tractor and a ramp. I couldn't recall, like I said, I remember these, but I couldn't recall if it was Santa Fe or Union Pacific. I actually, in a previous video posted where I picked up another one of these cars with the Union Pacific vans, but photo said Santa Fe, so we're going with Santa Fe. And I remember it being one red cab, Kenworth looking cab, I believe, that came with the set as well, in the accessories. Alright, I had this box car already. Like I said, I've had HO trains since, you know, my childhood, and then I got big time in them in the early 80s. So I was always buying them cheap, yard sales, flea markets, toy stores, and all. I can't recall where I got this from. All I can tell you is it was in the box of a bunch of cars, and luckily I had it. This had to be the favorite car out of the whole set when I was a kid because of the tractors. Now, I remember having 3 different color tractors, but what I could not remember the colors, because what I thought I had was yellow, blue, and red, but I haven't seen any blue ones. All I ever see is a gray tractor. I also have, I don't know why I did it, but when I was looking for stuff online, every time I'd see a lot of tractors for sale, I bought them. So now I actually have three more flat cars with tractor loads, and I got 1 more tractor, so I need 1 more car and 2 more tractors, so I can have a total of 4, excluding this one. Now I work for Caterpillar, and it's very tempting to replace these 2 with a yellow tractors. I do have them, but this is how the set came. This is what I remember, and this is how it's going to stay. All right, this car, like I said, I really didn't remember it that well. I just remember having the one that dumped, and it dumps one side. Yeah, there it goes. I could not find this anywhere, so I ended up having to buy a new set, brand new, never been opened, from the 70s, just so I could have the complete set. My dad remembered this car, and because he liked the action, you know, it was, hold on a second, those pins here would line up to the, I'm just going to call it a stop, so you could dump the car, and you push the power button, and it forced the hopper to dump the load. Last but not least, the Caboose. I've only had a blue million of these Cabooses. This is not one of my most favorite ones, because, hold on, I'll tell you what. I always liked the full plastic piece here, and I never cared for these metal pieces that look like, you know, staples. But hey, it's what I had in the box. It's the only one I had that was red. The sad thing about it is I did a video of where I was building some custom trains for my future layout that I've just started on after over a year, and I needed a Caboose, so I actually had the same color Caboose, Santa Fe, with all the plastic, but I painted it orange and black. Wish I didn't do that now, but this one will suffice. I remember the telephone poles and all the signs that came with it as well. This set I bought off of eBay. It was originally in the box. This bag has never been opened, but this one was. I haven't even taken them out to count, see how many's in there. I just needed them for this set. Now, I'm going to put this out here. I don't recall how all this was packaged in the main box that contained everything, as I want to say the cars were packaged in individual Tyco boxes, much like this color here, with the brown and the white and the clear window for each car. But I can't recall how the accessories were packaged. I don't know if they was packaged in boxes such as this, or if they were just in plain boxes. Guess I could have raised that up a little bit. This is not the correct crossing. This is one that came from my cousin, and this is like I said, he had the Tyco trains, and he was older than I was. So this is late 60s, early 70s. This one actually, the crossing, this works. I just pulled the crossing sign out to keep it from getting broke. And this one has the bell. And it's a pretty cool accessory. I will eventually get the correct one. But like everything else, hey, I'm going to use what I have, low budget. So there's nothing wrong with that crossing. Okay, so I have the ore dump car box with everything you see here. The car I've already shown you. I have the bag unopened of the ore and the piece that goes under the track and the trough to catch the ore in. Now the button, the box is green. Let me open this thing up. You're not going to see that much unless I keep opening it. But see, the button's green. You see where the car is supposed to be, and there's everything else. Alright, here's the freight terminal. Now, I mentioned my set had a red cab that looked like a Kenworth. This one has the one that I think looks like a Dodge. Now, my pawpaw, when he had his tractors, they were, you know, day cab, single axle, and they were both red Dodges. But they wasn't the cab overs, they had the hoods on them. I remember those trucks very well. They rode horribly, but he contracted and he pulled freight with those trucks all over the place. And last but not least is the freight unloading depot. You see the box, the flat car here is green, much like the flat car I have. This was an eBay buy. I got it fairly cheap because it didn't come with the button. But fortunately, I had another one of these that was in horrible shape, and it did have the button. So I got to wire this button into this set. This does work. I hooked it up to the power pack, and that operates fine. A little loud, but I guess that's the way it was way back then. And this is just a shot of a cardboard set of couplers, a set of couplers, and one of the couple of packs I have of the wheels that I'm going to convert all these cars over to. Now, the couplers are Bachmann Easymatics or Easymate. I don't have my glasses on, so it's kind of hard to read them. 78025 is the part number. I've used these before and I'm very pleased with them. Alright gang, that's the reassembly of my very first Tyco train set. Now, I know some people hate Tyco, some people love Tyco. When I was a kid, that's all I got was Tyco until the 80s, and that's when I started buying Bachmann. I never really had anything to complain about the Tyco. They were like everything else as a kid, unless you knew how to take care of them. That includes slot car tracks. You know, I never knew you were supposed to clean the track on them. And my dad sat there one day with a big old school eraser after we had the track nailed down and the engine wasn't running good, and he erased all the track, cleaned it up, and then I want to say, again, this is memory, but I think he took some kind of maybe alcohol or something to the wheels on the engine and cleaned those up so it would get better pickup. Sadly, I do not know what happened to that train set. I couldn't tell you when I lost it, how I lost it. I just remember it being there one day and gone the next. Now, my mom had a habit of going through our stuff without asking us and throwing things out and giving stuff to other kids in the neighborhood. I mean, it just irks me today to know that that happened. If I had to guess what happened to it, I would say it got trashed. Because a lot of the stuff with these train sets we also use with our Hot Wheel cars, like the tractors, the semi-truck and trailers, you know, the telephone poles and signs. Yeah, because we were big Hot Wheel fanatics too. I don't even recall what happened to the track that was nailed to the board. It may have got pitched as well. Who knows? I mean, I know it was gone way before I got back into the model. I mean, back into the hobby. As far as replacing the track, I've got tons of that style of track, mostly Atlas, and I'm okay with that because I don't know if the original track says Tyco. It probably does, or maybe Mantua. I'm not sure, but I've got the track. I'm going to look forward to running this eventually. Today it's been raining since I've been up, so I really didn't have a chance to go to the Lowe's to get any lumber because I was going to get back on my assembly of my layout table, the first section. But that's postponed. My dad was telling me, we was talking about this train set, and he was telling me that he had to take two cars and glue the couplers together because they wouldn't stay together. And I don't recall that, but he was telling me we'd run the train around the track, and the two cars. Well, it was one car. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know which one it was, but one car it just kept coming unhooked. Keep in mind, when you live in a small area in the country, and the biggest city doesn't have any hobby shops or toy stores until Christmas time, you didn't get replacement parts. So that's probably why my dad glued them together. Necessity. I mean, you'll do anything when you have to be creative. But gang, this brings back a whole lot of memories. I really can't wait to get this one going. This is something I've thought about off and on a lot as I've gotten older, and when I started back into the hobby back in the 80s and through the 90s, and now back into it again. And this is just a great thing. You can't see me, but I'm putting a huge smile. I mean, a huge smile is on my face just looking at this. Alright gang, a little longer than I wanted to, but that's the video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Have a great Saturday, and I hope you dry wherever you're at.